and we're right now with Paige Jean from Malaysia, and she is, just to resume this, Paige works with Reiki, frequency healings, and Akashic Records to help others to be their lights in their own in the darkness. And Paige, I really appreciate for coming over here to Zoom, because I could not even hear myself. It was so hard.
I get that.
Well, okay, you were telling us about your awakening, that your awakening was because you follow in love. And after that you meet many people that they were Reiki, that's when you started studying Reiki and so forth, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah, so it's very strange. Like once I connected to one soul connection, and it just feels like I am connected to multiple of them. And I met all of these people, and I'm like, whoa, like you are doing all this cool thing. And I feel very called to, start healing as well. So I jumped right into Reiki. Once I heard it, I was just like, okay, this is something that I need to learn. And I went to Japan and learned it from a master, a Reiki master who is trained on both traditional Japanese ways. She's in the Reiki Ryoho Gakkai, as well as she has also learned it from the Western Reiki.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's froze. Is it me or is it you?
Oh gosh, no, can you hear me? Technology. Okay, there you are. Oh my gosh, technology. Today is a weird day, guys, and everything happened for a reason. So sorry, they're boo-boos with the technology. Yes, she froze. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, there you are. Cool. And this technology today is apparently is the issue, guys. But well, so you study Reiki, and in the two ways, right? Can you hear me, Paige? We can hear you. Okay, can you hear me? This is funny. Okay, can you hear me, Paige? Oh gosh, she froze. Okay, there you are. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Gosh, technology today is not working with us. Please work. Please work. Let me bring one of my crystals that I always use for this. Hopefully it works. I don't know. Let's try it. What is the worst? Okay.
Yes.
Then you studied Reiki, the two techniques, right?
I started Reiki.
Yes.
Yeah, I started Reiki. I think 2019. So it took a while for me to really step into doing the healing myself. Mm-hmm.
Something that I have learned. I am a Reiki master. When I was healing people and I was putting the table, doing the traditional Reiki and so forth, and when the people went back to their home, they went back to the same problems, to the same issues. It doesn't matter if you align the chakras and remove the energies and do all that kind of stuff. They will go back to their same issues, correct?
Yes, that I
How?
noticed.
But you're saying also in your bio that you work in the darkness. Do you work with the dark night of the soul with them?
For them, I actually offer a few kind of service. One of them that was quite popular is a shadow self healing. So it's that Reiki itself. I'm not just sending Reiki, but I will also tap into the Akashic Records in a way and give them suggestion on how to work with their shadow work. So it's like when I'm sending Reiki, I will say a lot of things, and sometimes it's like journal prompt, sometimes it's like advice, suggestions, so that they will be able to work on themselves after the session. Yeah, because Reiki alone, if I'm just sending them without giving them any information, they will know where to start working on themselves. So I think that's quite important.
Yes, I believe it's a very good tool, but to certain extent, we need to learn more tools. And I'm glad that you actually did it. And what and you do only the Akashic records are only earthwise, right? Because like I have taken classes with like Debbie Potelli, you know, you have worked with her, and she's more in the galactic Akashic records. Do you do both, or you do only one?
I do both. Mainly if it's Akashic session, is more to the galactic as well. But if I'm tapping into it via Reiki, it's more towards the earth, like your current life, that kind of thing. Because I don't open the person's Akashic records when I'm doing Reiki. It's just that I'm kind of like tapping onto the surface of it. Like these are the information, these are the things that you can work with. But when they let me open the records, it's galactic.
Yes. Well, all the star seeds, we come from somewhere. We are not earthlings completely. So, and we tend to repeat the same story from before even we came over here to this plane, and it's going to be registering there. So I'm glad that someone is doing it. We have a comment for Catherine. It says Galactic Akashic. What does that mean to you?
Okay, Galactic Akashic Records. Okay, so it's basically for me, it's like to look at the person's soul, like the soul journey. That is what is important for the Akashic, like the Galactic Akashic Records. Like I know the past does not matter as much as like current. Okay, like current is where we can make changes, but knowing the past help you to connect the dots, that why are you behaving in a certain way. Are you holding a certain wounds from the past life? Like maybe those past life, as mentioned, like they are from Lyra, they were from Andromeda, all those. There is I actually do the session and I see a lot that they have holding all these traumas and all this dissatisfaction with them, and that prevent them from fully integrating their energy into the human body, which a lot of time cause a lot of troubles, a lot of problems in their life.
Yes, let's say just to add what she just mentioned, Paige just mentioned. Let us say you have a problem of insecurity every time you tap into certain pattern. When you were in Lyra or you were in Pleiades, I was more in Pleiades. And when I was in Pleiades and when I came over here, I'm going to be repeating the same story. And we can check our past lives, and you're going to find the same pattern in all my past lives here. And so when you tap into the galactic Akashic, that's when you can find precisely the same pattern that I've been repeating since Pleiades, and repeat it to 2019 here in Earth in this day. So that's what just adding what the information she did. That got clear, Catherine? I hope so. If not, just let us know. And what is the frequency healing that I was reading that also you study in the
Okay, so for frequency healing is something that how to say, something that I discover way after all the Reiki and after I do the Akashic records, is something that how to say, so we are excuse me. So in Reiki, we are working with energy. Most of the time, we're just balancing the energy. But energy that is a sub-level, that is the frequency that is made up of the energy. So by working with the frequency, sometimes we can actually adjust the energy itself, adjust the energy of a person's life. So from what I channel from the Akashic records, they were saying that it is something that I've done since an Andromedan life. I was from Andromeda all the way the other galaxy. So that's something that I do back then. So I'm still discovering more about it. So that is like to the extent that I know that I do frequency healing, but mostly I incorporate into my energy healing session like Reiki.
So, and in there I have encountered when I start learning more like, how do you call it? I start working with energy and so forth. And I started working in healing beside of all the techniques. They're amazing tools that I got. But at the same time, I started understanding that I can do the same, balancing the chakras and all this kind of stuff through the other techniques. So you don't haven't found that in common?
Yes. Yes, we can balance the chakra with other techniques. Especially, I believe that if a person have healing modalities that's best fit for them, regardless if it's not popular, regardless if it's something that you design on your own, that can help you to balance the chakra as well. Because from what I see, chakra is basically energy portal that sometimes it goes out of alignment, but you can adjust them back.
What will be, in your experience, the best way to open the third eye? That's something that I always been asked, and I always so I would like to hear your point of view, because everybody wants to see angels. They want to see their their guides and so forth. So, do you have a tip for our viewers about that?
I would say to open third eye, please start with grounding. Especially grounding into your body, because you need your body to help you to sense it. So third eye is about all the clair senses, so clairvoyant, clairaudience, clairsentience, everything. And we can only tap into that when we are in tune with the body. So start with the body, ground down.
I'm believing in yourself, because if you don't believe yourself and you start seeing angels and you start seeing or your intuition very in tune and telling you, hey, this is going to happen and so forth, and if you don't believe in yourself, what is the point even to have a third eye open? Because they can present in front of you, you're not going to see them. And the same applies, I believe, for everything, no, in all the healing practices. It depends on how much you believe in yourself, right? It's like if they tell you open the heart chakra so they can feel more love, but if they don't believe they can because they have their own personal blocks, it's like you did something, but they're not actually understanding that actually the heart chakra is open. David Riddle says grounding is important to not to take off too far. I agree. Yes, I agree. We need to. Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. So I actually have the experience of opening my third eye too quick without grounding, and the effect of it that I felt physically was that I felt like myself is detached from reality, very, very detached. And secondly, I felt like I'm walking around, but I'm floating around, like kind of like I can't feel my feet on the ground, that kind of feeling. So that is weird. It took me about 3 months to get back on the ground. So I would not recommend that.
Yes, yes. Or you can get hit, you can break your feet because you're not putting attention enough. So you're not grounded. Tell me about it. I just broke my foot, because I was not grounded. We forget things like that. Catherine says, when I start meditating, my intuition and third eye was so strong. It was like Pandora box. Yes, totally. What are your opinion about that? And you start meditating?
Very, very true. I meditate. I saw a lot of different things. There was even once that I saw a giant dragon eyes right in front of me, and I was just like, "Whoa! Like, are you good or are you bad? Because you're scary." Yeah.
But they are good, very good protectors. And I come from the culture Mexica, Maya, and Aztec. That's where I come from. But you come from the culture where more the dragons. Even we have some dragons in my culture. They're different dragons from your culture, correct?
Yeah.
And but you guys, how do you see them? For us, it was very protector. It was one of our gods, in fact, for the Mayas and Aztecs. But for you,
For me, I follow the Chinese culture. So we see dragons as in like Chinese culture think that they are gods, that they are control the four elements. So yeah.
yes, it
Yes,
was the same. So I believe it was very powerful, that meditation that you did when you saw it.
I think so. I was like, but the dragon has been on and off following me. That sometimes I see them in the sky and so on, and I was just like, okay, hi.
Are you a channeler?
I don't channel them, but I heard that if you connect to the Akashic Records, sometimes like you would tap into the dragon's being. That is what I heard. I can't confirm that.
Okay, because that is giving a lot of the message too. And how do you work with a client when you start working with a client?
Okay, that depends on which sessions, what kind of session. So if it's a Reiki, I would usually ask the client to lie down and rest as I sending them Reiki, and I will put on my recorder and say all the message and later send my recording to them. But for Akashic session, I will do it live, like one-on-one. It has to be because Akashic session specifically has to ask consent from the person with everything that we do. When we want to open their Akashic records, we have to ask for consent. And when for me, I do energy healing, some sort of like energy healing as well during the Akashic session. And that I will have to ask consent as well.
Mm. Okay. And then you mentioned that you work with the dark night of the soul, or with a certain technique. There are thousands of techniques for the dark night of the soul. You work with that?
Not specifically, but I do have clients who come to me like they have all this problem. I think it's like kind of like problem before their next awakening. They will have all those all those issues, or they're very down. So it depends on the person. Sometimes I use Reiki to give them a soothing, and the soothing is all they need. Sometimes they would need something more powerful, then they will go with an Akashic session.
For the viewers, the ones that are probably the ones that are seeing us right now, they're all healers, and they're very amazing people, but this video might be seen by other people. So can you please explain what is the dark night of the soul, because it gets scared for the people that don't understand what it is.
Okay, so dark night of the soul, from what I define, is that the is the moment before you cross the threshold, where there is most amount of doubts. There's most amount of like self-doubt. Usually that happens, and when you feel the lowest, and it's literally where you are kind of like at the bottom part of your life before you cross the threshold. So once you cross over there, everything will be shining and bright, and kind of like for some is like unicorn and rainbows, but before that, everything is just feels dark and hopeless. There could be a sense of hopelessness during the dark night of the soul, or the sense of like you can't help yourself. You would need a lot of support and help and love at that moment.
Your life is about to change also when you're in the dark night of the soul, so drastically. Your way of whatever you liked before, it might be you don't like it anymore. You have so many things that actually now it makes sense than before it didn't make sense. You're going to have many understandings that you before you didn't. And before you get to the light in a way, you to the very, very dark. And so you might be very depressed. You might be very, very sad in the lowest bottom part. That's where you're going to be at, but you're not going to stay there. And it's very recommendable that you get any kind of help that you can, because is very, very sad and I'm very, very scared. So any healer that works with the dark night of the soul, I would highly recommend you. Here is Paige, that she works with that. I recommend that because it can get very scary when you're there in that moment.
Yes,
And,
definitely.
and you're not passing for one only. We're going to pass through many of those, unfortunately, but at the same time, magically, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah, I actually just been through mine back in March of 2021, like this year. And that forced me to change the whole way that I'm delivering my healing. I'm even like redoing my website and everything. It feels like, as you're talking about it, there is this term comes to me. It's like the moment when when your reality breaks. That is when your dark night of the soul. Like nothing is really matters, nothing is very real anymore, and then you are, going through that rebirth.
And this doesn't happen only to healers or to light workers. This happens to everybody. That's something that people need to understand. As an artist, when I was kind of asleep, let's put it like that, things were happening to me, but I did not realize it. I even changed the way of I was painting. I even changed the way I paint. My palette and to paint, it changed completely. The way you write, the way you dress, the way you act, the friends you have, the husbands or boyfriend or whatever, you will change everything. So even if you're conscious or not, you will go through those changes, and you will not realize it, but you might not like milk anymore or any food or things like that.
Very true. Yeah.
David says those dark night of the souls are real hard. It feels like it won't end. The transformation is amazing when it break through. Yes. Right.
Yes, you have to have the breakdowns. Our breakdowns leads to breakthrough. So yeah, like that is the breakdown. Yeah.
Yes. Are you teaching classes right now, Paige, or you're planning to teach classes?
I have ongoing classes. So what is coming up next is really a Reiki class. So I attune others as well as teach them the method of like doing Reiki both traditionally and also intuitively. Yeah. I do also have energy courses, like teach other people how to use energy of their like normal life, like water, like crystal, like even like food, how to heal themselves with all those simple things in life. As well as for that, I also include some of the Akashic Records lesson into that. So you can tap into your own Akashic Records and ask them questions, which is divine guidance. I love them. So yeah, currently the two classes.
Can you please I know what is attuning, I'm a Reiki master, but many people do not understand what is attuning. And like that, they will understand what is better attuning. Can you describe it for them, please?
Okay, Reiki attunement. So okay, my belief might be a bit different than what other thing of attunement is, but attunement, Reiki attunement to me is like it is a blessing from the teacher and initiation for one to start learning Reiki, to use Reiki to heal themselves. And if they are ready to, they want to use Reiki to heal others, they can do so as well. But mainly Reiki, I believe, is to heal ourselves too. That's why I find Reiki like a class offering that would be best because they can use the energy to heal, self-heal. Even if they are not, giving themselves Reiki every day, they're channeling it, they are self-healing.
Then do you teach people how to see auras and things like that?
Auras, not really. I don't see auras. My clairvoyance is limited to when I close my eyes, then I can see some scenery, some colors and so on. But when I look at the person in my 3D eyes, it is 3D person. Yeah. Mm.
Okay, because I've been finding out more about different psychic classes and people teaching psychic classes, okay, to use energy and how to use it in just the regular life.
Yeah.
And I find some fascinating that when you mentioned that, it's like, oh, I believe that's fascinating, and I believe we're not more special than anyone. Everybody's special, but they just forgot. We just remind them.
Yes. Yeah. I will always say that a teacher is no more than, a way shower. Like, we are doing it this way. So if you do not agree with our way, you can find your way as well. But if you resonate, you want to try, you can try our ways and see whether it works for you.
And each teacher is going to teach you what do they have understand. And you can, I tend to grab something from here, something from there, something from there, and do my own thing. And no teacher is wrong or right, and there's no need to even to push it wrong or right. Take whatever it you agree, and whatever you don't agree, throw it in the trash.
Yeah, let them fly. Yeah. I've been the follower before of one teacher. I think I discussed it the last time that we were on, So I've been through following one teacher kind of like blindly until I feel like everything that I learned is not right. And I was like trying to blame the teacher. I've been there. And now I'm like, can come out from a better, healthier place, I have to say.
From the two techniques of Reiki, which one do you feel more comfortable? Because you say that you learn from the two techniques, and which one you feel more comfortable?
I actually prefer a mix of two. Like until now, I'm still doing the two, like a mix of them, but more intuitive. I'm more into the intuitive. Like if I feel called to do, go into this area and start doing the healing and actually checking the energy, rather than traditional way is that we have to follow the 7 chakras, or we have to follow the 13th hand position. I don't do that. Like, I never really resonate with that at the start. So I just, like, intuitively, okay, I feel more energy here. This part needs healing. So maybe I'll have to start with the root chakra. And I will start with the root chakra because, in a way, is that regardless of how much energy we give to the other energy point, if there is one chakra point that is specifically stagnant, that the energy can't flow anyway. So if you give energy to there, it doesn't really work, because this part doesn't flow. It's just like an engine. There is one part that doesn't work, so regardless of how many other parts you fix, it doesn't work.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And energy is like water. If you don't let it flow, it will get stale.
Yes.
And it can provoke a sickness. So that is important to let it flow like the water.
Totally.
So when are you starting your classes, or do you have a ongoing class right now, or when you're going to start a new one?
The new Reiki study will be starting this month, actually on the 26th of this month. Yeah.
Okay, and people can find you in your website or in your Facebook, correct?
On my website, or otherwise, if they are on Twitter, I'm actually more active on Twitter than on Facebook. So most of the information will be on my Twitter.
What is your Twitter? I didn't got that one. I just got your Facebook and your page, the healingpage.com. And
Yes.
but I didn't got your Twitter account. What is your Twitter account?
My Twitter account, the handle is the healing page, at the healing page, no space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
would you like to add something else before we close?
Okay, so I don't have much to add. But yeah, thank you so much, Monica, for having me today. It is an honor to connect with you again and be able to share my story with you. Yeah, like looking forward to, if you want any discussion again, looking forward to connect with you again as well.
I love to talk with you. The last time we connect in your podcast. Oh, her podcast name is, what is your podcast name? So people can.
Okay, the name that I'm using is the Healing Page as well, but you can find me on YouTube. YouTube, there's this series called Slice of Life. That is the podcast that I'm running. Yeah.
Okay.
More like a podcast, I guess. Sorry.
I would suggest to later on, you write it down in the comments so like that people can follow you, and because it's really fun, guys. I did have a lot of fun when I got interviewed by her in her podcast.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yes. So okay, the next week, guys, we're gonna have the next Monday. We're gonna have Jean William Humenik. I hope I'm saying it right. She's from Canada, and she is a healer, spiritual, and advisor, photographer, an author, and co-author in the same book that I actually wrote. Too, I'm co-author, The Blue Stock, Business of Life and the Universe, number 4. And we're gonna have her at 7:00 the next Monday. And I hope everybody can accompany us. And I believe I'm going to be doing through Zoom because the StreamYard doesn't work. And I really apologize to you, Paige, and to all our viewers about that we have to change to Zoom because the StreamYard was having us in a horrible echo, and we could not communicate. And we just have to work with technology sometimes. I'm sorry, and I apologize to everybody about that.
No worries. Yeah. It is Mercury retrograde, especially like things just kind of like gone with haywire a bit here and there. And I believe it's also because, there's high energy over here with Monica, so things happen.
I want to think that this make us work without interruptions.
Yes.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure. And thank you, everybody, for being here with us. Thank you. And if you have any questions, right now is the time, guys, before we say goodbye to Paige. David says, no problem. Mercury retrograde strikes again. Yes, it did.
Yeah, and this retrograde is in Gemini, so I think it does affect a lot of like technology and communication mainly. Yeah.
Yes. And Gemini I'm terrible in astrology. I just know certain traits of the signs. Gemini is the one is indecisive, right?
Pardon? Gemini
is the ones that are very indecisive. They can't decide, right? It takes forever to make a decision.
Kind of, yes. Between Gemini and Libra, that this both like but Gemini is like because it can't decide, so it would just go both ways. Like I can't decide, so I will be like, I would do both. Yeah, the indecisive one, I think for Libra, it would be stronger because they would be there like I can't decide. Like you want me to choose, I can't choose.
Yeah, well, I was married to a Libra and to a Gemini. Imagine that's, oh gosh, indecisive. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to see you again, beautiful. And thank you. Thank you for making your time. Thank you, everybody, for being with us and for having patience with us and being following us here. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye-bye.